I had one that said
All right.
Mama.
Okay.
That's terrible.
Jesus.
What kind of Barbie says Mama?
I wasn't a
That's
Barbie.
crazy. Oh, okay. Make room for the dinner.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is too.
This is fun.
It is fun. I'm having fun.
It's relaxing.
This week I found a website.
So only you and I have cameras, Paula.
oh,
The other ones are just like
Doesn't.
we got three of us on this one, and we got four of us on this one. Okay. Go ahead.
okay.
I found a website this week that justifies the entire yearly expense.
Now it's out.
Oh,
Now it's saying Videonics.
You know what? It does that when you
Oh.
go too fast pressing the buttons.
Okay.
Oh, just go slow. That's how it likes it. Gentle. So you found a website?
It justifies the expense of the internet for an entire year. This one website.
Meaning that it's stuff that you can save?
No.
through the I don't understand. Justifies.
Let me explain it to you. For me, I mean, it justifies it. All right.
Okay.
People go around to universities like Yale, MIT, Berkeley, Princeton, Harvard, and they ask professors, "Can we sit in on your class and videotape your lectures?"
oh, really?
I'm not kidding you. There's lectures on this site of literature, Hemingway's themes throughout all of his works.
So they have the whole course, or they just have?
In some cases, they have an entire course. Yes,
Free.
They do. Yeah, and it costs $100,000 a year to go to Harvard, and you could see some of these lectures on video.
Well, after 62, you can go to UB and audit any classes you want for
After
free.
you're age 62? Mm-hmm. That's a good deal.
Thanks for telling me about that.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. You can take anything. My friend Dennis, you've met him a couple times. Dennis
He was
Dickman.
at your mother's wake.
Yes, he was. He and his wife take advantage of that.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I like
Now
it.
the people know it.
Now the people.
What are you doing, Greg?
Nothing. Just hanging out over here.
You stopped cursing.
I didn't curse. Actually,
Yeah,
I
you-
said Jesus.
No, before you were cursing.
He does. He's not aware when he curses because
I have Tourette's.
It's part of his charm.
I'm like that too. Yeah, I'm constantly on a dirt track.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I do.
I'm a mutter.
I swear at inanimate objects a lot.
I don't mind that.
And Greg's always like trying to back off.
Yeah.
In an experiment at a university, right? Mm-hmm. They did a thing where you put your hand in a bucket of ice, right?
And you pee your pants.
And then you said, "I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore," and then they would time you, right?
Okay.
Then they says, "Do the same thing, but when it starts getting painful, start swearing." And all the people extended the amount of times that they could endure the pain.
Oh, just by getting the
By
aggression
swearing,
out.
yeah.
Well, mine's emotional pain, but it's the same idea.
You could last forever.
Yeah.
With your hand in the bucket. That's like a torture.
Well, does that indicate that swearing helps you cope with stress better?
I think it does.
Does it help you?
I feel like it helps me. I don't know how other people feel.
Yeah, I know. See, the thing about using curse words, especially loud at inanimate objects, is that it tends to shake up the people around you. It makes you feel better, but it makes other people feel kind of like hell. So you have to weigh the. Usually I do it Usually I do it all the time.
I made up my own curse word to help me not say fuck all the time because I caught myself saying it in the store a few times.
But it's your store, though.
Well, sometimes...
What do you do, fire you?
Yeah, well, no, I felt like I should probably not do that. So...
Make it. That's one of your things that you
part of
advertise.
the charm. It's part of the charm of scars.
We got the woman who owns a store.
The potty mouth woman.
Yeah.
She swears.
Yeah, well, she's slinging sausage. She's like, what the fuck?
I mean, your customers are buying slaughtered animals that were living, they were breathing, they were having sex, they were
It's the best way to
thinking.
eat them after they've been killed.
Yeah, and you slaughter them, and you sell them
I
to
don't
these
think
people.
they slaughter them.
No, we don't. We
Well, they're
do
slaughtered
cut
for
them and
you.
stuff.
These animals that were living and breathing and thinking and having sex and dreaming, and you have these slaughtered animals sent to you after they're killed, and then you sell them to people. Why would those people care if you're swearing? They're buying living, breathing creatures like animals, like we're animals, and they've been killed for them to eat, and
I
they're
don't
going to
think
care about you
make human
swearing.
sausage, though.
No, but what's that?
No,
I didn't say human. I said
there's
they're
no
animals.
Raoul
Like
sausage.
they're animals. We're animals, and you have these animals you're selling. This
So
flesh.
that makes us uncivilized? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not uncivilized, but I'm saying why would anyone care about a made-up swear word when they're buying these slaughtered animals to eat from you? They're not going in there for a wholesome thing. Your store is not wholesome. You have dead, slaughtered. You're the opposite of wholesome. Do you realize that? You think, your
There are
last
flames shooting
job
out
when you were
of it
selling poison to
occasionally.
people, or one of your last jobs when you were selling poison to people.
Yeah.
Liquid poison to
Liquid
people.
poison, for sure.
And that was not wholesome. Could you swear in that job? Could you say the F word in that
I
job?
swore constantly on that job.
So, but it wouldn't be endearing at the pork store, but it would be at a bar.
Yeah, no,
Same
you're
thing.
right. I mean, part of my swearing
All
is my
right,
charm.
what is
That's what I'm
what is
saying.
the word
So-
you made up that
ball
helps-
sacks?
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah.
That's a real word.
But
not made
I
up.
implemented it for my own purposes of.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Cursing.
since you did it as a bartender, you swore constantly, and you got all these tips.
I did.
So don't you think you might
That's
get
nice.
more in a tip jar at the pork store if you swore a
Do you have a
lot?
tip jar at the
Yeah.
pork store?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense that I'm going to curtail it at the pork store, but I used to do it all the time at the bar. What's the
I know,
difference?
I know.
You got,
Ask
it's
me to-
worse. The
ask
pork
me to
store is
swear
worse.
for
There's more
$1.
kids in the shop than there were at the
Oh,
bar.
you have children
Oh,
coming
yeah.
there, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now I understand.
Babies, actually, little and
They don't
little
care.
tiny kids.
They don't.
But the
know.
parents care about the babies, and the parents care about the kids.
Yeah.
You're right. I didn't even think of that. Of course, the pork store is not. I thought it was like an NC-17 pork store.
Yes, exactly.
But it's not.
You must be this tall and 21
Yeah,
to enter.
to ride the pork, but it's not. It's actually. You're right. Kids come in there. I don't remember ever.
Yeah.
We've only been there 4 times together. I think, Paula. I didn't see any kids though. So I mean,
There's kids.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
that.
sure
Children,
there are.
yeah,
That
yeah.
people
Kids
bring
love
their
bacon.
kids.
Children love eating pig.
They do.
right?
Yeah, they're being raised
Richard
well.
eats tons of pig, right, Richard?
Now, I find this very hard to believe, but it was told to me by a reliable source. One of the professors in this website was giving a lecture, and he told this anecdote. When the Dalai Lama came to his university, he was sitting at the table. They were all eating lunch, and what was served but a salad that had meat on top of it, strips. Mm-hmm. And the Dalai Lama ate it. Ate the meat.
Did he
not,
really?
That's not hard to believe.
That's okay.
And he said, and the professor spoke up. And
You're rude if you say no to the meat.
what?
You never heard that before? All the gurus always say, I don't eat, I'm a vegetarian because I'm a guru, I'm a spiritual guru like the Dalai Lama. But if I go somewhere and they're serving meat, I don't say, oh, I'm not going to have that. I'm above you all. I'm a spiritual leader. They always eat the meat.
So what did he say?
You never
Did
heard
he
that
do
before?
it out of just
With all your
respect?
research, you never heard that before?
I'd like to point out to you, though, if you study the teachings of Buddha,
I do.
it specifically
Relentlessly.
says not to eat meat in that teaching.
I know, but
It's in the
this is-
fourth
I'm not
noble
talking
truth.
about the Buddha. I'm talking about the spiritual leaders of today, the Dalai Lama, etc. Not the actual Buddha from thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago. Whenever was it thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago, Paula?
Don't you want to know what he said?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying
I
that
think
the
it's
Buddha
thousands.
is not the relevant thing. The relevant thing is spiritual leaders today. They don't punk off people because of the meat, even though they're vegetarians. They eat it anyways because it's a punk off. That's a very rude thing. So they eat it, even though it's they wouldn't have it slaughtered for them. They would say, "Give me some meat," but since it's already there, they eat it. That's why it's not surprising. You never heard that before in your research? Well, I have. So there.
Well, that settles it then.
I have.
Therefore,
What did the Buddha say?
Yeah.
I mean, what did the Dalai Lama say?
He said that my doctor told me that I wasn't getting enough nutrition from the food I was eating, and my doctor recommended that I eat meat occasionally.
Oh.
That is astonishing that he would have a doctor that uninformed who could say something like
But the
that.
thing is, he may have just been saying that to be polite.
That would be telling a lie.
The
oh yeah, the Dalai Lama's
is-
perfect. He never lies. Is that what you're saying, Richard?
Well, what I'm saying is,
He fucking lies.
I was stunned that he wouldn't follow one of the precepts of the Buddha. That surprised me. And B, that there would be a doctor advising him who would tell him.
Well, you don't think the Pope
Well-
follows all the precepts of Jesus and Christianity, do you?
He still has the choice not to follow the doctor's recommendation.
Yeah.
Richard, the Pope doesn't follow Jesus and Christianity. He's saying gays should be okay and not ostracized. In the Bible, it says gays are, bad. And the Pope,
Well,
the
didn't
Pope
the
is
Pope say it in such a way that he had wiggle room?
no. The Pope did not have any wiggle room. He said, "Let's be nice to our gay brothers and sisters."
Is wiggling
that's not
is
wiggling.
wiggling lying?
No, wiggling's not lying. That's wiggle room. That's not lying.
Well, no, because
Flapping around like a fish.
wiggling isn't lying.
And Lent.
I'll give you an example of wiggling.
Fridays.
All right. In the state of Washington State, where the song Louie Louie, the band was from Washington State, the Kingsmen.
Okay.
From Seattle, I think.
Okay.
So somebody decides, let's change the name, the official song for the state, to Louie Louie. From Washington, my home, I love you, some corny song. So they have to have a debate on this thing. Now there's a problem here. Any politician who votes for the song is going to win the youth vote, but he's going to lose the vote of the old people. And they have to decide now.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going on right now?
No, this took, you know how they got out of it?
How?
With the wiggle room principle that you just brought up. They
Okay.
said, Louie Louie, we have voted it in as the official rock song of the state.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
old song will still be the official song of the state.
Create a new category. Yeah.
But that's where wiggle room comes in.
This reminds me a little bit of how clothing sizes for women have changed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And there's been wiggle room in that too.
Uh,
You
Yeah.
mean a size 10 from the 1950s is not the same as a
No,
size?
Not at all.
Not at all. A size 8 from the 1950s is approximately what would be considered a size 2
Whoa.
or a size 0. So when they talk about Marilyn Monroe, they say that she wore a size 16, which is true, but a size 16 is like a size 8 now.
Yeah.
So they've changed it?
Oh, yeah.
they've
Did they announce
accommodated
when
it.
they changed it?
In the 70s, I think.
It just happened. I don't think they made a big announcement.
No,
It just
no,
all of a
just-
sudden changed.
Yeah. Sizes. People were getting a little bigger. And, they just needed to make more sizes.
So
somebody who thinks that they're a size 0 now, which never existed then, they were probably a size 6 in the 50s.
Yeah.
There is a size 0?
yes.
There's a double 0. I don't know what that means. I thought that was just a number on a jersey, A double 0. Yeah.
Yeah, because people, for some reason, since Twiggy,
Then I
I
think
guess.
you should get into the children's clothing if you're a size 0.
But yeah, if you
exist if you're
because when you
size
sell
0?
vintage
No.
clothes, you have to
Obviously, if
state
it's 0, you don't exist.
that it is.
It's like if you are a 0, if you are not a person, but you were a
vintage size
0,
16 and
that
give the
means you don't
measurements.
exist.
I like a negative.
It's really
Not even a negative,
You
it's
could get
just
two
nothing. It's
patterns, like a
nothing.
dress
Yeah.
pattern.
Yeah.
Negative
from
would be below
the-
0, but
Right.
In fact, I'll
See,
bring
I'm
one
surprised
Zero is
next time.
nothing.
I'm surprised there
It's got
aren't
the measurements
negatives.
on it from the
You know,
this is- this is-
1960s.
Hey, Paul, we're having a conversation over here.
So are we. What a coincidence.
Oh, that's okay then.
I told him I'd bring a pattern from the 1950s and a pattern from now and show him the difference in the measurements.
Do you think that Brian Williams should be fired, Beth, because he lied to the American public? I mean, what's the point of having being the evening newsman if you're going to lie to the public?
That brings up the whole wiggle room.
So I was asking Beth, though.
Yeah.
Do
that
I think
brings it up.
he? Do I?
Should he be fired because he lied to the American public? What's the point of him being the anchorman?
Well,
then,
the
if he's
thing
gonna
is,
lie?
in that business, it's all about the ratings, and he would either, he would, no matter what, he would.
Good point. He gets good ratings.
It just depends on the ratings.
And
if
won't
they
he actually
accept
get-
him, then they'll keep him. If they don't, then they get rid of him.
And when he comes back, he'll get high rating. He'll get a spike in the ratings upwards
They'll
when he
probably
first comes
be-
back. 'cause
The
everyone's
first
waiting
show
for him.
will break records because everyone wants to
Yeah,
hear,
so
like,
he's gonna spike right off the
woeful
bat.
apology, and
I have no
And
idea.
if he
what
does
you're
well,
talking
it could be
about.
like when Hugh Grant went on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and Jay Leno
Yes.
went up. He went up, and he spiked for the ratings because Hugh Grant was with the prostitute.
yeah.
And he never went down. He led Letterman for the next 10 years from that one
From that
night.
one moment?
So Brian Williams comes on. He does a little
could
speech. I'm
happen.
sorry, America.
Yeah.
And then
He's the boy next door, reporter.
Is there anything good about the fact that the Oscars were all white this year, Beth? There was no.
I didn't watch the Oscars.
But it was all white people. They had no black nominees for Best Actor, Supporting Actor, Actress, or Actress.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't watch any of the movies that come out unless somebody recommends something.
I'm not asking about the movies, Beth. I'm asking you about the fact that...
I don't know what to say.
Is there anything good about racism, I'm asking? Is there anything good about it?
Is that racism?
Of course it's racist. All white. There's
I don't know who,
20 actors and actresses chosen. They're all white.
You're asking me to assume that everyone who votes is racist.
No, I'm just saying that how can you get 20 white people when there's a movie called Selma
Are they all,
about Martin Luther King, which
are
is
they
nominated
all white?
for...
Are all
Maybe
the
there was
people that vote
close
white?
tie for-
No. There's a few black people. I'm just saying...
Why didn't they vote for Selma?
I'm saying they got outvoted. It's by percentage voting. You know what I'm saying?
There should be wiggle room, and there should be like maybe an extra person nominated.
Or an extra
if there's
race.
Yeah. They could work it out mathematically. Here you go. Now I've thought about it because you
Took
made
you a
me.
long time to think about it.
Thank you. Well, put me on the spot. But they could work out mathematically what the odds are, and then they can calculate how many extra people they get to nominate who are feeling infringed upon.
We had a little
That's
meeting.
nicer.
We had a little meeting, Paula and Richard and myself, earlier, and we discussed the fact that now that Tim Saraki's gone, we hope he can come back more often. And we know you were really busy, but Richard said that he thinks it'd be great if you were here as often as possible. And Paula said, you said it'd be great if Beth was here as often as possible.
I'd like to have you
even
here
if it's
every
twice
week
a
with
year.
me because
I know we know you can't make it every
feel
week.
like a normal person.
We know you can't make it every week, but maybe like once every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks or 10 weeks, because without Tim Saraki, there's a gap, there's a hole. And the only
in our lives.
In our lives.
So we need to fill
and
with
Richard,
Beth.
I think you agree with me. It would be great if Beth was filling in for Tim. That she'd be a great fill-in for Tim. Don't you think she'd be a great substitute for Tim?
It's not even substituting for Tim. It's just being.
But we need more.
being.
And I know you can only come like every 8 to 10 weeks or every 12 weeks. But I'm just saying, whenever you can. We had a little meeting about it. I'd like
Schedules.
I hope you can come back as much as you can. Like this year, maybe come 5 times or whatever.
Maybe 6 or 7.
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I'm just saying if you can consider it, because we were thinking about you'd be a great fill-in for Tim. I think, Richard, see if you agree with me on this. I think Beth would be a better addition to the show than Tim, because Tim and me, it's male energy, male energy. If Beth was here, it's my male energy and then Beth's female energy. I like the mix of the yin
Our
and
yin
yang.
and our yang.
What do you think about that,
We
Richard?
just did it at the same time.
You know what? You agree with me on the yin and yang thing? I like that better in a way.
I like the yin yang thing.
Yeah. What do you think, Paula? Do you think that's good? Because, we got Tim. It's just like we're kind of similar, Tim and I. Obnoxious asshole
Who's the
men.
yin and who's the yang?
Well,
I want to be yin.
I don't know about that, but you know what I mean, Paula? Tim and I are very similar, obnoxious asshole men, right?
I don't think you're similar to Tim.
Yeah, you wouldn't marry Tim.
I would not.
Oh, get this. I want to tell
Tim.
you, I want to announce this on the air. Beth, you'll be interested to hear this, Richard. When I married Paula in the cemetery, I was humoring her.
So your heart wasn't really into it.
No, I was humoring her.
Wasn't your
Oh,
first
it
choice? Is that
wasn't.
what you're saying?
I was just humoring her. She said, let's get married. I said, yeah, okay. I just thought, I didn't want to go that far.
let's get married.
I said, let's get married because I was humoring her. Yeah.
Let's
Now,
get
I hope
married
your
in the
husband
cemetery.
it wasn't humoring you when you
Joe
got
Kennedy
married.
would have gotten married in the cemetery too. We both would have. If
That's right. Yeah, your first date was June 1st in the cemetery, and our first marriage was June 1st in the cemetery. To each other, I mean.
Yeah.
Of course, Paula's been married many times like Elizabeth Taylor. But
Did you make a special deal with Ron Emke when he said, "I pronounce you man and wife"? He had his fingers crossed behind his back.
no.
Okay.
No, but he did. He did
Fingers
warn us that we might not be legally married.
Yeah, we might not be legally married because it's Ron Emke. What can you expect from Ron Emke?
He said chances are it'll go through.
Chances are, but you never know.
You might not really be legally
Now, Beth,
married.
this year on
Yeah.
June 1st or around there, of course, to celebrate your anniversary, your first date, and our anniversary of our first wedding to each other, we're going to go to the cemetery and take mushrooms. Now, we want to see if the four of us can get Richard Wickett to go with us. He said he doesn't like doing drugs. He doesn't want to go. Kind of talk him
Especially
into
now
it.
that I found out that the Buddha was opposed to that.
Buddha's opposed to drugs.
The Buddha's opposed to
It doesn't
anything
matter.
that
You know what
alters
Dalai
the
Lama
mind.
said? The Dalai Lama said, my doctor told me I need some recreational drugs
And some pork.
and some pork, and so therefore I'm going
and
to
a
take
fork.
I was really surprised when the Dalai Lama got a note from his doctor saying need more pork and more recreational drugs like mushrooms.
So
What do you think of that? So,
Alex.
Beth, talk him into coming. The 5 of us together, the 4 of us with Richard. How about this, Richard? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say you should just come along anyways.
Take photos of the 4 of us. Will you do that?
Oh, sure.
All right. So the 4 of us will be high on mushrooms, and Richard will take photographs.
This is not going to be at midnight or anything?
No, daytime.
Oh, daytime.
Lighttime.
Oh, yeah. Fine.
And you'll come over and you'll take photographs of Joe and Beth and me and Paula all taking mushrooms and walking around high in the cemetery, right? You'll document it.
Oh,
The
sounds
reason
like
I
a
thought it
plan.
would be at nighttime is because usually you associate going to a cemetery to expand your mind with communing with the dead.
I know, I really want
But the thing is, the reason we're doing
I don't, dead people are not.
If you remember that, Richard, Paul and I love death, and we got married in the cemetery on June 1st. But remember, it was daytime. It was like 5:30.
Right.
It was
It was
totally bright
pouring.
out. It rained. Yeah, it wasn't bright, but I mean, it was daytime. It wasn't anywhere near evening.
humid as a
Evening wasn't like 3
motherfucker.
hours later. So we're gonna do the same thing for the mushroom thing. And you're going to come take
was.
photographs and document it then.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. It'll be interesting for you to be around 4 high people, at the same time. You've probably experienced that before in this room, though.
Maybe
but-
a little osmosis will happen.
Yeah, it always does whenever you talk to
Don't
somebody.
eat the mushrooms.
Don't eat the brown mushrooms.
Don't eat them.
Here, Richard, have a little mushroom pate.
In Jamaica, you can get mushroom tea.
Really?
Yeah.
Meant to
I don't know.
expand your mind, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Sell it on the side of the road.
Tonight on Frontline, we discuss Rex Ryan. Now, this guy's crazy. First, he gets a Buffalo Bills tattoo, and now he's painted his pickup red, white, and blue.
He's an impulsive
What do you think
character.
about that, Beth?
He's an impulsive kind
I
of
don't
guy.
know who any of these people
Yeah.
are. I don't watch the news.
All I know about him is that he likes to suck his wife's toes.
What was that?
Yeah.
He's got a foot fetish.
He does.
Rex Ryan admitted to liking
Yeah.
sucking
There's
his...
video of
There's
him.
video of it, yeah.
So
Just
does my
licking
cat.
those
The
little
Bills
toesies.
coach is a
Foot
foot
fetishist.
fetishist
Yeah.
Of his wife.
of his wife.
Yeah.
And
totally.
I did ask
Oh, my
Sal, I
God,
said,
Beth,
do you
you're-
have an in through
I'm
the
on it.
foot fetishist community where you could get him to come on your show?
Right.
He said, I'll look into that.
Wow, that makes sense because our best friend Sal Monaco is a foot fetishist, and therefore he's like number 1 in our book that way. And
Yeah,
he's-
well, everyone should know a foot fetishist.
so you're not into that then? You and Joe are not into the foot thing?
I do enjoy. Everybody enjoys a good foot massage, don't they?
No,
I do.
the sucking. You said he sucked on her toes. You said
Totally. He
Now
was
this came
right
up.
Into it.
This came up
she
when
does have
Sal
a
was
butt
here
thing.
during the week.
it
all right?
came up. That's a good way to put it, Richard.
And this is what happened. If I told this to Sal, and Sal was shocked that I said this. I said, Sal, I have told women that if you come here, Sal will be here and he'll give you a free foot massage. And they said, great. And
sounds like
then I
death.
said, the reason is because
He's
for
a sicko.
him,
He's a pervert.
feet
Yeah.
are a path to sexual desire.
Right.
And they would all say, oh, never mind. Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting.
Well, because I don't really want it's not, that's gross.
She's stuttering
Well,
because she's disgusted.
It doesn't change what he
was gonna
does,
do.
but it
It
changes
changes-
your mental
and he's probably
attitude.
great
Well,
at it too.
okay,
or he's probably
that's
decent at
like
it
you're
because
saying
he's into it.
A child sitting
Probably
on
really
a
good at
normal
it.
person's lap is a child sitting on a normal person's lap. A child sitting on a pedophile's lap is a whole different piece of cheese.
Tonight on
So-
Frontline, we discuss my last guest, Richard Jazuski. He was on 3 weeks ago. It was a wonderful show. I called him a freak. I told him to shut up. I didn't listen to him. It was great. And he said, after watching the show, he said he couldn't be on anymore. I called him up and I asked him why. He said it's because he talked to God, and God said to him, Richard, it is not in my plans for you to be on a show with Greg Sterling. That's what God told him, God. Now, Richard Wickett, what do you think of that? Any interesting points on that one?
I would ask him, does God have a male voice or a female voice?
Right. I think male the way I just did
Oh.
it, probably.
And does God just speak with an American accent?
Right, good.
Or, like another Southern accent, maybe?
Right. And was it the only time God's ever spoken to him to tell him not to be with Greg Sterling?
Yeah, I was wondering, were there other?
That's what I should have asked him.
What else has God told him?
Right. This is the only time. I wonder if it's the only time. He has one talk with God. He
Yeah.
says, don't be with Greg Sterling on video.
I wonder if
Burnt
he's
into
given him
tablets.
fashion advice.
Oh, my God. He gave me fashion advice. That was so ironic.
God did?
No, Richard Jazuski.
What did he tell you?
He said that I should dress better. And I dress horribly, but he just know better. It's like the
What is-
fish calling the kettle black,
What about this Cottonelle commercial where they're asking
What?
people to go commando?
And what's Commando?
Cottonella's toilet paper.
Yeah, the deal of the commercial is that it's got this new ridges. So
Ridges?
Yeah, the Cottonelle.
So there's not going to be any.
So apparently it's supposed to grab more crap off your ass, and so you can walk around without any
Underwear
any
protecting your pants.
So they've got these commercials where this woman says, "And do you feel clean enough to take your underwear off?" And they go into a little bathroom and they come out going, "Woo!" And everybody shows that they're wearing no underwear, and I'm thinking, and they're like, "Go ahead, go Commando." Thank you, Cottonelle, for.
I don't think
made that up?
underwear.
No, it's
you know what,
absolutely
Beth?
true.
I do not think
What does this have to do with
underwear.
God?
I don't think
Oh, it's all
underwear
about
is
dressing.
only for keeping the poop off your pants.
It's not only for dinner anymore.
Yeah, no,
right? Underwear.
I don't feel that way about my underwear.
Well, then why do people wear underwear?
For fashion.
And to keep your bits safe.
Like for
and
guys, you want to keep your balls in a sack.
girls want
Ball
to
sack.
keep all their
sack.
their parts
Yeah,
away from zippers and stuff
they're,
too.
Right, they're kept
Yeah.
sort of protected.
Sort of protected.
in a nice environment.
Yeah.
Beth, what's this to do with God? We're talking about God, and
Oh,
also
no,
you're talking
God
about
does
the
not
Commando
wear
thing.
underwear. That's what we're talking about.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking
like-
Beth to defend.
I was, you know what? I went there because you were talking about him giving you advice on what to wear, and I was thinking,
Oh, I should go
Cottonelle is
Commando,
advising
yeah.
people not to wear underwear.
Yeah.
That's
I bet
where
the
my brain
underwear
went.
manufacturers are going to rebel.
They're taking a shot at the underwear people.
That's right.
Yeah.
But why would
Paper
God have an
underwear.
interest in me, Richard?
Yeah, you can approach from a lot of points of view. Number one is Richard Jaszewski. Can you tell the difference between God talking to you and you
WBNY.
imagining
Oh,
that God is talking to you?
Right.
Like, what's the dividing
you
line?
can't tell because it's. How could you tell? It would be really hard to. If you're imagining it, it sounds like God.
I think a lot of people that say God talks to them are actually what's happening is they think God's talking to them in their mind,
Yeah.
and what it is they're thinking, and obviously they're not used to the process of thinking, so they think
Wow.
that there's some kind of idea coming into their head from a foreign land.
What about you, Beth? Did anyone, God ever talk to you and tell you not
Instead
to,
of-
not to sell pork, for instance, or you know, because meat is
Haven't-
murder, right?
Haven't heard that message yet.
You haven't got the message. Meat is murder.
Tapped out.
Beth, meat is murder.
SOS.
Meat is murder.
Yeah. No.
Do you have any vegetarians picking in the store or vegans picking in the store? Or?
No, we did have somebody once ask us though if we made vegetarian sausage, and Joe just said,
What's the
"What would
point?"
you put it in?" And they were thinking of
A case, I know, but you got to put the
Yeah.
tube. But that's
Yeah.
that. Oh God.
Or like maybe patties. It would be patties. It wouldn't be
yeah. Well,
sausage.
No vegetarian stuff. Sorry.
Can you imagine where you'll be 10 years from now, Beth? Where will you be in 10 years?
In 10 years, yeah, I'll be right here.
You'll be ready. That's so sad.
I'm not
You'll be in this
moving.
room in 10 years.
You want me to be here more often?
That's right. That's right.
I'm just gonna park it.
You're going to stay in this room?
Pretty much. It's comfortable.
Oh, my God. Richard, what are you going to allow
I
that?
love the lava lamp.
Or are you going to make her get out at 11 p.m. like you do with Jim Prey?
Well, I mean, I don't know where I'll be in 10 years.
No, she's saying she's going to stay here from
point.
now on. From this moment on, she's saying.
That's true.
Can't you just stay in
Yeah.
this room or would that get in your way? Will that cramp your style, having a person sitting in this room all the time?
It'll be different.
Could I borrow
People
you
your?
will
could-
wander in here and they'll be startled.
Yeah, every single time they come, she's sitting right
Yeah, because
there.
her stockings will be hanging from those clips up there.
Canadian flag. Could I borrow your homemade computer?
Sure.
Oh.
Beth, have you been doing any more painting?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I
so no
haven't.
painting of me.
I
thought you
blew
were
my
gonna,
wad on Richard's
I thought you were
painting.
going to pull. I thought maybe
Oh, that's really a nice way of putting it.
Richard, is that how you felt? That it was her blowing her wad in the painting of you?
That
Would you put it on the
never
wall?
occurred to me. But it's very Freudian, isn't it?
How so?
Because it means that the
She
entire
ejaculated on the.
well, it
What are the
means
wording?
that the entire culmination of your sexual desire was infused into your artistic expression.
That's what it means.
why it's
Yeah,
such a
an
good painting,
orgasm. She orgasmed out the painting of you.
That's why that thing is.
It was
the bomb.
fused with the painting of you.
And you know, Freud.
So you must feel
made
used, Richard.
Freud made a point. Freud made a point of showing how the sexual desire was underneath all the other desires.
Not in this
Well,
case. It's out in the
he's
open.
Yeah. I guess-
Jesus Christ Almighty God. Beth, rebuttal?
I had a good time painting it. I was happy.
I'm
to
sure
do
you
it.
did.
Yeah.
It was orgasmic.
Sounds like
Since
it.
you blew your wad on it, I mean, that's
My
pretty
creative load just
good. Yeah,
left
your
me.
creative load. That's right. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great ending. That's a nice ending for the show, I would say.
Oh,
It
you're
was
welcome.
Beautiful.
Beth, I'm sorry the guest
we
wasn't
all,
here.
We,
Oh, well, you know, they probably heard that I was going to be here.
we
right,
all
yeah.
blew our wad on the
Oopsie.
oops.
Greg, you're going to have to hold on to that until I turn down the volume.
Beep, 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 beep.
I just finally got a picture that I want to paint.
There's
Do a painting of my dad fishing.